Coach, take it away for game number 4.
Yeah, like they just said, if you're not within the top 32 to at least guarantee yourself a spot in the last chance qualifier, we got to figure it out, because Team Prido, your last match winner, went from outside the top 30 into 16th place after one win, Goj.
Yeah, Prido, massive jump, 32 points in total. I'm looking right at that 20th place with Toyor, 26.6 points. You multiply that by 3, 8.86 is your current margin for error. Folks, we're dropping into the second half of this tourney. Let's see how map 4 goes.
Just traversing over a little Urzikstan cargo, a nice plain path that will really favor that western side of Urzikstan. So for those teams that might have drops over by farms, even in Manor, well, you've got a long haul and a disadvantage when it comes to getting your loot on the board, because a lot of those teams that start hot, like we're witnessing here, looks like no one's going to chow them, though. You can immediately see Team Fuzzin on the opposing side electing to continue back towards the city. And honestly, I don't even know what we're doing at that point. Just like, here's my warning shots. I see you 300 plus meters away. I'll check in with you later, though.
Yeah, it's hilarious because Enigma broke down pretty much all of Pentagon, Fuzzin, Melvin's like strategy of where they're dropping, what they're doing on main stage for everyone to see. And I saw them in chat talking about it as well, which was so funny, but they ended up dropping there as well. We head over those some early encounters. These always set the tone for the second half of the tournament. Who's going to stay aggro? Who's going to try to hit that threshold? And when you have an advantage, you go for the fight. But OG is there, does get a trade with his teammate, just doesn't get in the room fast enough to not get full wipe. So unfortunately, frankly, a missed opportunity. It was a 3v1 and you still lost a player. That's got to be frustrating, but still an overall team win.
Have no fear. All we have to do is go straight back into some other teams, check in with them. Revolt, Zeet, Brandon on the screen. Now, this has been the battle that has been occurring every single game. Huncho from Fire, Revolt in the opposing building. It's gone both ways, with eventually squad number 7 on the left enacting revenge in map number 3. We're just waiting to see, but let's check in with Cargo here as Team Cams is getting into it with Sniper Pigna.
It's the north side of Cargo. This is a big one. Team Cam's in second place. They've been slaying out all day today. And Sniper Pigna on the other side on their back foot. On their heels. They are pushed back, but neither team willing to relent. Neither team willing to show face for too long. They don't want to give up position. They don't want to lose a player because, again, as per the usual, one mistake could set your entire team back. Send them all to the gulag. And so both teams back up, reassess, reloot, armor plates, whatever you need to reassess this fight from another angle. Will it end in Cargo? Likely no. So they're trying to clear this POI out from anyone near them. And frankly, these two teams are the only teams up on the north side of Cargo. There's only 2 other teams in Cargo, and they're on the south side. So plenty of room to work with. I think this is one of those fights that's going to last quite some time, Tiff.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Sniper Pigna's squad coming in 28th place on the leaderboard. So good enough for that last chance qualifier. There is a buy station here. You can see that Sniper Pigna's team was able to grab their loadout and start to immediately take angles. DGiani on the screen electing to use that Holger, but Cam's with the angle. It's going to be one that's going to be hard to contend with.
Yeah, again, I really think this fight's going to be a very long one. Maybe if Sniper Pigna's team can catch this Cam's team in rotation, but it doesn't look like either team's willing to make a rotation yet. Like, have to fight each other before either of them move. So it's just back and forth fire, back and forth resource management. Interesting.
Yeah, that's all it's going to do is I saw Team 21 just across the way. That's going to be Team Marcus. Now, that's the squad that completely reaped lower bracket round 1 for EMEA. And you know they're going to hear this. They're going to see the distance, all the smokes that were being used, and want to get in on this. But if Cam's Loss and Yavix want access to that buy station that Sniper Pigna is ultimately denying them access to, we'll just have to maybe find a different way. But King AJ, Showstopper, Vision on the screen. Still looking for a bit of Be Groovy?
Yeah, looking for B Groovy here on the south side of Old Town, western side of Low Town. Just trying to hunt down this team. Now, Beno gets the double buyback, and if I'm Beno, I'm saying, get out of here, fly somewhere else. Like, I am being hunted, and not by just any team. This is showstopper AJ Vision, a team that, frankly, on paper, shouldn't have made it to the lower bracket. It's a frustrating performance for them. Everyone expected big things from them, and yet again, another team that's just trying to prove that they shouldn't be here by executing here on main stage. And so far, decent. I think not as great of a day as they want, and they're going to try to turn it around here in the second half as they get a nice wipe here on one of B Groovy's teammates.
Yeah, this is your 8th place team showstopper, basically piecing apart your 18th place squad B Groovy. They find Beno, immediately set their sights onto the remaining duo, and when you have that 3v2 and you're just waiting to see what is Beno going to be able to do in the gulag, maybe provide some information, showstopper's already deciding to leave the Opal Palace and kind of anchor back to deny anyone the chance to rotate up. That buy in particular was access to hit a regain, and that's going to say, okay, well, maybe I can grab that pick or maybe not. Little decisions being made, but we got a mobile buy and the PDS locked in tow. Yeah, and frankly, I don't know if I leave. Like, they have a couple kills to boot. They're at Opal Palace, which is fairly centrally located in this zone, and they're all by themselves. The closest team is that B Groovy team that just bought back and now finally have all three up again. But I think I hang out in Opal Palace for a while, so we'll keep hopping around here to Old Town. So the other side, this is a team that could be rotating towards Opal Palace, actually, with Scuffology and Marcus, a team we have high expectations for after dominating in the lower bracket. Want to step up here going into the second half of this tourney to prove they should be in regional finals. And right now, again, by themselves, the closest team is going to be that team in Opal Palace. It's going to be B Groovy. You can see Visions off onto that south side of Old Town as well. So we'll see which side this team kind of defects to, because frankly, we don't know where this zone will go yet. And so they're trying to get to a good position while also pick up good kills. But I like the pacing that we're on, mind you. The last we saw of them before they've made it over here towards Opal in Old Town was they were in cargo alongside Sniper Pigna's team. Now, they weren't necessarily engaging with them, and it's smarter to focus on hitting that rotation towards the eastern side. Now, granted, not as dominating as they were in lower round one, but they are sitting in the top 20, in fact, in 10th.
Yeah, so just inside top 20 and have a little bit of room for error, but still not quite qualified yet as we swing over to Microvolt & Co. They are in a little bit of trouble as two teams come flying at them. Now, both teams seemingly only have a couple players to boot, but so does Microvolt now at this point. I think they've only got 2 alive that we can see at least on the other side of this firehouse building, and Sadie might be trying to make a quick play on the outside with a bit of distraction from Santify. Are they just trying to cause a disturbance as Sadie gets a flake from above? I love that we can see this aero cam. What can Sadie do? Let's keep an eye on his perspective. Pushes the equation, finds one. Barrel stuffs, but unfortunately goes in too early. Just a miscue of communication. You gotta wait for Santify. Santify gonna chow this? This is psycho behavior right now. Santify goes for this, unfortunately gets punished for it. But Stage, at least getting something out of it.
Sage is just like, good luck over there, guys. I'm looking at the opposing squad. Now, Zany did need a big play here. They're in 34th place, which means they're in the bottom 8 and will inevitably go home if they cannot breach the top 32. So making that play would have been smart if they would have been more cohesive about it. Now, Santify in the gulag has to clutch it up, going up against Crystal Shots, who, well, to be frank, are sitting in a much better position on the leaderboard. Yeah, this is make or break for Santify for the most part, whereas on the other side, Crystal Shots seemingly almost already qualified for 3 games to regional finals. It's a hit marker. Slow rolls. How about a Molotov straight to the face? That'll weaken your opponent. Nice win from Santify. Back against the wall. Gets right back into it as well. His teammate is way up high in a radio tower, getting knocked by probably a Car 98 back-to-back. Yeah, see you later. Stage, unfortunately. Bad position, bad decisions, and barely on the threshold of trying to make LCQs. Watch out, that team is in trouble. Here comes Team Starbrook taking on Team Physic. Physic down and out, finds himself in the gulag, but Brent was able to hit the res onto Millsy. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to stabilize in here because Baines and Starbrook are just looking for any opening, investing the precision airstrike to really deny them any chance of getting outside that building. But now we have to see Baines here looking to make a play.
Yeah, this is a pretty big fight. Look at where they're at in the zone. You've got to make a play here. You got to make it now. You've got to clear out your opponents in a massive kill, utilizing that C4 to his advantage, the barrel stuffing his opponent. Can he answer back? There goes the second. It's now a 2v1. Squad 23, Millsy, an incredible performance during group stages, a frustrating performance during the lower bracket that they ended up doing pretty well in, but they just haven't had a great day-to-day in comparison. They need a massive move right now. And speaking of a massive move, look at where they're at in the zone, Tiff. We have a crazy map pull all the way down to the southeastern side of this map. Farm still technically in it, but this is going to be a manor and an island likely final circle or a south side of farms. We are all the way over on that far right-hand side of the map.
This is very similar to a zone that we witnessed in North America yesterday. We just have to get there. If you're not already in, it's going to be a journey. And here at Opera House, we completely missed the mark. Open the door, try to open it with a C4, but get punished. Vision's now last alive, teammates in the gulag. What are we gonna be able to do here? Honestly, disengage.
Yeah, you just got to stay alive. I mean, there's still 32 teams left. I mean, we're not even sniffing at any sort of sizable multiplier. 1.2x comes into equation here. The 2 more teams falling, but we'll see. On the other side, Team Wars already made regional finals likely, so how about add insult to injury and win the 1v1 in the gulag? Wars flying right back in. They want to prove something, Tiff. They probably watched the beginning of show, and they saw the drama and the stirring of the pot we did as well on top of their woes, and they're just trying to dominate this competition to prove that they're still one of the best teams here.
That's true. A lot of teams do that while we're kind of waiting here for Visions in the gulag. And one in particular happened, I believe it was last year with World Series of Warzone. And Wars, who's in this lobby, was listening in and he's like, why are people doubting me? And then you think of all the things that he's had to go through. It's a completely different duo that he's playing alongside. But for now, Vision going to have to get out of the gulag. Fedo on the opposing side. Let's see.
This is giant. This is make or break. His teammates fully eliminated. If Vision loses this, he's out of this lobby. Weak opponent means he's got the advantage. He's got some plays and he pushed around the corner. Gets shot. He's low. It's going to be a 50-50 to win it all, and Vision goes down. Vision's team, Squad 22, out of here, out of the lobby. See you in a bit for map 5. That is a massive loss for Team Vision.
Well, here we go. You got Team Fuzzin on the screen in the road outside of 2 different squads. One of those squads is going to be Tony White, winners of map number 2. Impact's finding some moments and taking down a few teams. But for now, we're going to be able to gatekeep these. And if you start City, then this southern rotation through Urzikstan just makes sense. You've got 4 teams just to your south.
Big Tony White reminder, top 20 make regional finals. This team's in 19th right now. I mean, they're just sitting there, basically averaging out about 9 points a game. They had an 18-point win earlier with 9 kills. Couple frustrating games thus far. Edge of zone and suburbs, like you were talking about, Tiff. This is going to be really difficult to rotate in. They've got one team directly below them. If they can wipe this squad, they might have a chance, but Millsy's gonna play spoiler. Millsy makes a move through the smoke. I don't know if Tony knows they're here, or at the very least not ready for him. C4 over the wall, gets Tony one shot, but can they answer back? It is player advantage on the side of Big Tony. They gotta grab a win here if they want any sort of semblance of chance to remain inside the top 20 for the final 2 maps.
Yeah, but Team Physic on the opposing side needs this even more. This is your 19th and 22nd place squad going at it. Incoming C4, not gonna connect, but impacts on 3 eliminations, just trying to hang out of that line of sight. They do have the player advantage, but only Tony has a gas mask. They start to wrap around the fence. Here we go. Slayer's gonna be the last one to approach. Brent just below them. There it goes, the full unfortunate, but GG's to Tony White, who can continue yet again on that rotation.
All right, Big Tony, I see you. Now, they got to rotate pretty aggressively. Zone's already moving. They're right on the edge of it. They're going to get held by likely a couple teams, and at the very least, just Prince Caspian up on top of Array here, shooting down, raining hellfire, and luckily, with only 1 player on Caspian's team, this is not that difficult to float around. You can see a full team of 3, though, on the other side of this zone, right underneath Caspian as he gets the buyback. This is going to be a crazy little fight here, again, on edge of zone. Everybody running for their lives, but also having to take some shots, as it looks like Trance is on the other side holding as well. This is a brutal rotation, and this is what happens, Tiff, when you go this late.
Yeah, for Team Solds here in the distance, you're just gonna have to wait and see. Tony White in the middle of the road, just getting peppered from the cross, cannot make it to the building. So we do lose out on impacts. Tony White Slayers will be the duo for now, but we're not done yet. We still have to filter through the remainders of these buildings and get closer. But when you have other squads like Team Huncho on your north, and even Squad 35 in the gas, you go for the easy eliminations that you can get.
Yeah, easy. They get a buyback. Nothing's easy. Everything is just war at this point. I mean, this is so tight, razor thin margins of these fights, but Tony does pick one off in rotation, about as free as it will get for the rest of this battle, because yes, they have all three alive. They don't have a ton of resources. They barely have half a gas mask between all three of them, and still they find a way. Tony, our oldest competitor, and I'm not harping on it, but his gun skill's looking impeccable, and the Team Kim is on top, somehow still in this with a sizable amount of kills. This could be the game they need to get off the fringe and get into that regional finals and be able to breathe for the final couple maps.
Yeah, I'm not breathing if I'm sitting in 20th place. So we are fighting for every chance that we can get to get out of this situation, because at the end of the day, it has not been easy for this rotation. The majority of our squads have already hit Eastern of Manor. I'm looking at teams like Toyor. I'm talking Wars. Wars' squad is actually on that edge of circle that Tony White's team will have to get through after this cluster in front of them.
Great call out, Tiff. We're going to see Wars on the other side. But we stick with Tony. We stick with 19th place, trying to better their chances on this leaderboard. Here's a quick look at that circle Tiff was referencing here. Only a couple teams already in, and it's that Team 29 playing spoiler Pink Turtle holding Tony White. Now, I believe we got a couple people banking on Pink Turtle, by the way. I think it was eBay saying, watch out for Pink Turtle. And apparently he was right, as Pink Turtle rates hellfire on Tony White. Tony White's team, risk of elimination here, just barely inside the top 20. They have fought tooth and nail for every inch on this rotation, but it's a Pink Turtle holding them out, stopping them from advancing and stopping them from a sizable game.
Look, if someone's gonna hold me, it better be a Pink Turtle. You can see just kind of extending out, looking for different angles, specifically towards impacts, and Bonzo's gonna push it. But you do have your map 3 winners on that hillside that is also taking some of their attention. Bonzo just waiting for the opening. Impacts is gonna have to swing out. There it goes, and a nice cleanup there. Goodbye, Tony White. We'll see you in drop number 4. But for now, job's not done. It's all water all time.
This is such a great hold by Pink Turtle, and they have a ton of eliminations to boot, and they definitely needed it. Team Skinner, 26th place going into this map, and I'm counting at least 11 eliminations just between 2 of the 3 players on this team. This could be a massive map. They need top 10, and they are close. Just on the other side of the bridge, though, they've held teams. Now they're about to get held. Who's already across the bridge? Here they are. King AJ, Vision fighting Cams, who's fully restabilized. All 3 up in one of the better positions here on the rocks if they win this gunfight and if they don't lose any of their teammates. Couple plates in means they have player advantage. King AJ out of here. Can he save his team? Where are the Cobs? Come help out. Lost looking for the last one. Vision still up somehow. What is going on? There it is. Finally, they get the knock, but they've opened their shoulders up to who? Pink Turtle running across the bridge.
Look, they've got to get across the bridge. It's now or never. That circle is going to close in about 20 seconds. Enough time here to try and hit the res onto Lost, but the angles are just too tough to contend with. Now you've got squad number 34. That's IR7AL on that opposing side. That's going to be gatekeeping, and unfortunately, Team Cams to fall.
Crystal shots rotating in deep inside the zone. If you saw that a moment ago, They're way out there having to rotate. That's Walker out into the gas, making this massive rotation. You can see Team 34 also PDSing in the zone, holding this massive rotation. The only team in the new is going to be Toyor. They have 2 players, but a great position. If they can pick off a couple, and yes, they do. Zesty, 1-2, buckle my shoe. How about a team wipe? Now top 5, a massive map when they needed it most. Toyor goes huge. If they can do it again here, if they can grab a win, this will push them so far up inside of likely top 15, if not further. This is exactly what they needed. And in the words of Juki's from LAN last year, it's about time.
It truly is. And now into the top 5 we go. A 1.8x multiplier for all of our squads. And Toyor was sitting in 23rd. And we are so close to being able to breach into that top 20 through our back half of our series. Just a few more teams to contend with. And they've been here since the beginning. One of the earliest rotating squads over towards the ranch. But for squad number 34, you've got a Pink Turtle, Skinner, and Co. ahead of you. How are we going to be able to take angles? Because you already gave away your position.
Who let Pink Turtle into this zone across the bridge? A crazy rap, but Sharpie is cutting them down, making sure they don't have an advantage. Pink Turtle still has 2. I don't think anyone has 3 up at this point. It's all 2s and 1s, but still 5 teams as we get to our final couple circles here. It's going to start closing in dramatically. The only team with 3, Pro Urson, a team way down at the bottom of the leaderboard. But look at Skinner and the kill feed picking up a double, maybe a triple, a full team wipe. Pink Turtle's team is not out of it, and Rayon is setting them up for success with a massive flank. 1, 2, maybe 3. All 3 go down by Ryan. Squad 34 goes massive. May have just set up Pink Turtle for a win, but with a PDS, they still have a chance to take it. Here's the other fight across the board, Tiff. 3 teams left, and it's 2v2v2, but these 2 teams are about to fight each other, which is going to set up Sharpie and Pro Urson to win it all. We lose 1, get the res, a 2v2 for the final fight.
I was gonna say, how are we actually getting that res off? But it does. Now we see the 2v2. Both have officially cleaned out their side of the zone. Toyor with the height advantage and plenty of resources to make this happen. They have to cross and now start to isolate themselves. I love that we're keeping our eyes over here, but it's not the right way. We're looking for the wraps, and 1 goes down.
No smokes on the rotation means they lose one in the process. A miracle from Ryan, can't close it out. But finally, it is about time. Toyor is your victor. The top seeded team coming into this competition. They were 21st in the upper bracket, barely missed out on regional finals. They've been lurking in the shadows, almost at risk of going to LCQ, and they finally get it. The second half of the tournament apparently is theirs as they win it all, and it's because of their early rotation. Look at where they're set up, but they had been in this position, Tiff, for the last 4 or 5 minutes before this point.
Yeah, and they held all the space on that southern side of Ranch. Now, that's going to be great because you can constantly put pressure across the way. Squad number 29 able to win that big fight, but it's the swing that comes out from squad number 34 with the smoke straight onto Pro Urson's team. That was massive, and quite frankly, one of the most aggressive pushes for an endgame I've ever seen. And every elimination worth 1.8 at that point, you grab 3.
Yeah, and here's the other massive moment. Toyor got the zone pull, so the RNG gods on their side, but Skinner made a massive play to get to the roof. This is frankly the best position. They just didn't know that Toyor was there, so it was a free wipe. Like, all it took was 1 glance down below or listening to a footstep, and that whole fight changes. And I think maybe Rayon's team wins this because you probably lose at least 1. Even if Toyor wins the gunfight down below, it wouldn't be an even chow. Now Toyor gains the high ground. Toyor has the best position, and frankly, this is a nearly impossible fight to win when Toyor has the roof, and they didn't have enough smokes to cover a lot of these advances. Couldn't give enough coverage. Bang, get the win. Let's take a quick look at the victory moment and see these players' reactions.
Sí. ¿Un muerto? Delante, delante. Vente, Tony, vente. Sí. Vamos, joder, esa es, joder. Va. Esa es.
El equipo, bien.
Va bien, va, venga.
Nada, no pasa nada, perdona, me hay fallado. Es lo que hay.